What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is finally the day when we are going to design something. I know it's been a while and I know a lot of you have requested to see how I design stuff. So today is that day when we are going to redesign Peter McKinnon's new website. I came up with this idea after I saw one of his latest YouTube videos and I saw that he started to sell prints now and it was like a huge achievement for him. And when I saw his website I was like, maybe I should take a stab at it and see what I can come up with if I would have designed the website for him. Now I know he's using Squarespace and he doesn't have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to design, but I just said that it will be cool to take you guys throughout my process to see how I will design a custom website for someone like Peter McKinnon if he were to be my client. But before starting any design, my suggestion is to start knowing your target audience. For me, it's easy because I've been following Peter since he started on YouTube and I really love his content. So I kind of know like his user base and what they're used to. But if you start like a new project, my suggestion will be just to start understanding the user better. So go there, look at competitors, look at different websites that are doing the same thing and try to get a feel of what the user wants and what are his needs. After doing that, what I did is I went on his Instagram and then on his website and I started saving like different images. And I do this to create like a mood board. And mood boards actually help you to stay within the brand or within a certain look and to be consistent. So that's why I saved all those images, I put them into a folder, dragged them into Figma and just keep them there just so I make sure that the look and feel of the website will match the look and feel of his personal branding. Now the next thing that I did before starting to design, I created a typography scale. And in case you don't know how to do that, I created a video a couple of months ago and you can find it up here or on the left or the right side is gonna pop there somewhere. And I created that typography scale for my project. And what this typography scale does, it makes sure that your design is consistent and also it helps you design a lot faster. So now that we have our design file ready, let's jump into Figma and start designing. Okay, so now that we are in Figma, the first thing I prefer to do is to screen grab the actual website, or if you don't know the website that you need to redesign or it's a new design, you can screen grab one of your competitor's website. This way you have the structure of what you want to achieve in your Figma file. It's a lot easier to reference to it than instead having it written down on a piece of paper or, putting it somewhere else. It's a lot easier to have everything in one place, and that's why I prefer to put everything in Figma. So after I have this, now I can see that we have this structure like the hero, then you have the presentation for the Lightroom presets, you have the limited edition prints, the YouTube channel, and then afterwards a follow section on the bottom of the page. So now I know the structure. The next step will be to create a frame. So I will click a frame, and usually what I like to do is to go on desktop and use the 1440 by 1024. Like this is my starting point. Now, because I looked around at the mood board and I saw that everything is dark. Personally, I prefer to have, in his particular case, because of the branding and everything, I will prefer to have like a darker kind of theme. So to do that, I will just go here to fill and I will select like a black background. Now, an important step for me is to make sure that everything is properly aligned and properly positioned. So to do that, what I do is I create like a layout grid and I put this grid as being 12 columns. So for desktop is 12 columns, for tablet is 8 columns, and for mobile is 4 columns. So that's the rule that I use. So I prefer to use 12 columns, put it to stretch, and then afterwards I like to give it a margin of 100 pixels. So this is now kind of like my area where I know that I need to position all my elements because it's defined by this grid. Once I do that, I start working from top to bottom. So I will start working at the menu. What I like about the menu is that he has the signature and he has all these links. So I'm not gonna play around too much with it. I'm gonna drop his logo. And then afterwards, I'm gonna grab a text and I'm gonna write shop. And now the beautiful thing is that because we created and we spent a bit of time creating those styles, I can easily go and select the body text. I can go here to make the box wrap around the text, copy this and paste it, select both of them, go to auto layout and put a distance of around, I will say 15 pixels, align them to the left. and this will help me create the menu super fast. So now I have shop. I will change this to collabs, this to about, and finally contact, so I don't need the last one. Good. I'm gonna delete this, put this here, select both of them, make sure they're properly aligned, drag them a bit lower. This is not aligned to my grid. And there you have it. Now we have the actual menu. That's how simple it was. Now, as for the hero page, he has an image with himself, but what I want to do is kind of like give him an introduction to let people know who he is and what he does. And to do that, what I've done is I went to his homepage and I just copied the text from there, and I will put that into this section. But before doing the text, I will just grab an image that I picked from his Instagram account, and I'm just gonna place it here. The only change that I've done to this image is I literally screen grab it from Instagram, so it's nothing fancy. I just literally screen grabbed the image. I imported into Lightroom, and I just gave it like a vignette so it will blend with my background. So that's the only change I've done to this image. So now that we have the image on the right side and we can see who he is, I would like to add his name here, and then afterwards a short description of what he does and what he likes. So to do that, what I will do is go to his website and copy this line here. Okay, grab text, put it here, leave it like this for now, and then I'm gonna write his name, probably in caps. And now start playing around with the text. So this needs to be H1 because that's why we defined it. So it needs to be nice and big and bold. Oh, it already starts to look 10 times better. In my opinion, for my preference, again, I don't have anything to complain about his current website. It's just, this is my kind of like style and this is what I prefer. So I'll write his name here. And next, what I want to do is split this photographer and filmmaker and grab this lover of coffee and good stories. Copy this, cut it, put this here, and then afterwards have this as a different text. Usually what I prefer to do is to kind of like try a combination of two different fonts. And what I want to do is use this as kind of like a cursive font. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna detach it from the actual style, and I'm gonna use one of my favorite fonts, which is Stay Dreaming. Obviously, I'm gonna increase the size to probably 150. Oh, that's too much, around 90. Probably a tad smaller than this. Yeah, we'll play around with that. The photographer, I would prefer to have it as an H6. Perfect. Make sure that these are properly aligned, and I want this to fit on a single line, so it's perfect. Nice. If you look at a glance, you know who he is, you know what he does, and you kind of like have a teaser of what he loves or some of his passions. So that will instinctively make you curious to start scrolling down to see what this guy is all about. So after doing this and making sure, because this is gonna be full, like this is going to take the full height of the screen. So after making sure that this looks proper, this looks good, I can toggle on and off this just to make sure that everything is nice and clean. Then what I will do is holding Command on my keyboard, I will start dragging the rest of the page so I can fit the other sections. Now the second thing we're going to do is to recreate this kind of like Lightroom preset presentation. So my idea behind this is to grab the same images that he has, and to do that what I'm gonna do is to simply create a rectangle, and in this rectangle I'm gonna drag and drop my image, which I saved on my computer. Go on Command Shift K, that will open up this window. And I'm gonna go to Peter McKinnon, I'm gonna go to Assets, and here I have car 1 and car 2. I'm gonna open this, I'm gonna put one here, and I'm gonna put one wherever it is. I forgot to copy this, and because this way they will automatically fill the box. So what I'm gonna do is Command-Shift-K, pick the first car, hit OK, and replace the image. Now, to do the slider, where we have like two different images, you just drag this on top, and depending on where you want to have the after image, you can drag the right slider or the left slider. So in my case, I want to have the after image on the right side, so I'm gonna hold Command on my keyboard and just drag the left side of the image like this. And now you have like a split image showing you the before and after. Now that we have this set and it's in our grid, I'm just gonna toggle off the grid for a second, create this slider over here, set it to 4 pixels, white, make sure that everything is properly aligned, and then nice and easy. The only thing that we're missing is to create kind of like a button here that we can grab and play around with. So to do that, again, I'm gonna just use a circle, give it a fill of white, and then a stroke of white. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change this to 2 pixels. I'm gonna drop the opacity a bit to, let's say, 90%, or even 80%. And that will give me this nice slider. Also, what I would like to add here is a couple of arrows. So to do that, I'm gonna be a bit creative. So I'm gonna use these symbols. I'm gonna change this to my favorite font. So that will look better. You right click on it, you outline the stroke, and now you have an arrow. And you can just flip this horizontally, and then this is how this slider will look. And I think it looks good. I mean, I like the way it looks. Maybe make them just a bit smaller, I will say. Usually when it comes to icons, a good size to start is 24 pixels. So if you're around 24 pixels, you should be fine. If you go lower, it's a bit risky because people might miss it because it's too small. And if you go too big, then it might not go well with your design. So usually what I do is I start at 24, and then if I need to, I just increase the size of that icon. Okay, so now we have this, everything looks good. The only thing that I want to add is, because I know Peter has his own brand, Pete's Pirate Life, I grabbed his logo and I want to add it here. And that's more to kind of like spark the curiosity for the user to be like, why does he have like a skull and 2 knives underneath on this slider? So that kind of like starts creating this internal process for the user that it's curious to see what this is all about, so he might look into it, especially when he will see the exact same logo down in the follow section. So now that we have this, I would like to also copy this text again, so I make sure that we have the same size on the top of the page as on this slider, and just write before and after. Again, same technique, I will just go here to make the text wrap, and also here, and Command X, select this layer, Command V, this will paste it on top, put it here in the corner, Control X, Control V, put it this here, and now everything looks really good. The only part that he doesn't have on his website is kind of like a presentation, and personally I prefer before each section, especially if people don't know anything about you and they're just like looking around, I prefer to have kind of like a presentation. So just a small title. So I'm using this, and I'm gonna use an H3, and I'm just gonna keep the same thing, like Lightroom presets. this here. And underneath, I'm gonna add some text. And to do that, I go to lorem ipsum, generate a text, a short paragraph. I'm just gonna copy this, copy and paste it, go into my design file, change this to body, paste this, and voila, that's what we got. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this text body is the height between lines, and I did not set that up. So in order to do that, I can simply go to body and then go here to height and change this to 24 pixels. And now it looks 10 times better. That's why I like this. Okay. And as you can see, he has like shop presets. So he has like a call to action here. So what I want to do is, instead of actually using this kind of like button or style of button, or simply creating a rectangle and putting some text in it, I would like to use a brush stroke. So I went online and I found this brush stroke, which I think it looks really good. And I'm gonna use this as my main call to action. So it doesn't need to be a box. You can be creative with it as long as it stands out and the user understands that that's a button. So any shape that works. For example, this kind of looks like a button, but it's a bit more stylized. So it should be completely fine. If the user sees it, they will instinctively know that that's a call to action. So after adding that, I will add shop presets and change this text to probably an H6, I will say. That will work well. Change this color to black and drag and drop it on top. Change this here, and there you go. Now we have a call to action. And I think it looks a bit different than what you usually see on other websites, so it will attract attention for sure. So yeah, this is our first section. Now we have the limited edition prints. Again, same as we did here. I will just copy and paste this, and I'm just gonna change the title. So I will say limited edition prints edition, not what I wrote. Okay, make sure that this is properly aligned. Let's toggle on that grid so I make sure that everything is properly aligned. I'm gonna align this to the center. I'm gonna change this to center align. Again, same as I did for the title, align that. And here I will add those 3 images. Now, same thing as we did for this part over here. Now, because I have this grid, I can simply drag and create some rectangles, and because I have 12 columns, I know that if I want 3 images, then I will need to have 4 columns for each image. So I'm just gonna copy and paste these. Okay, so same as we did for the one above, Command-Shift-K, hitting Command-Shift-K on your keyboard, and I'll go back to this website assets, and I have these images 1, 2, 3 over here. I'm gonna click open, and then I'm gonna have 3, 2, 1, and voila. Now we have this section done as well. I'm gonna put this closer to my heading, so visually you know like that this is a section and it's part of the same thing. And also what he's done is he put the name of the actual shots here, so this will be the bucket shot. I'm gonna put this text here, 20 pixels to be precise. Copy and paste this. I can either do it like this manually, or I can create an auto layout, but for now let's do it like this. So you have the bucket shot, then you have the morning fog, and the strength in numbers. and strength in numbers. And again, same thing as we did for the section above, is because he doesn't have like a call to action. I would like to have a call to action here, and copy this and see Control V, and just have this in the middle of the page. Shop prints. Let's keep the same theme. Good. I'm gonna make sure that this is aligned with my button. And perfect. Now we have the two sections. Now the only thing that we're missing is the YouTube and the follow section. And for the YouTube part, I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm just gonna copy the section above. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it here. Same thing, because I want to have a call to action that will take the user to his YouTube channel. I will add this here. What I would like to do though is to add on this one. I'm just gonna change this to YouTube, and I'm gonna grab an YouTube icon and drop it over here. So this will kind of like tell the user that this is an external website. I mean, the symbol for the external link is different, obviously, but I don't want to use it because I don't like it that much. So I'm just gonna try to kind of give the user a hint, a subtle hint, if you will, that this is an external screen, an external link. So now that we have that there, perfect. What I'm gonna do is use the same image as he did. So exactly the same what I've done with the Instagram one. I just screen grabbed it from his website, from his actual website. I'm just gonna put it here because this will be like a video, and I think it's really cool. And yeah, if you haven't seen this video, I will highly suggest you to check out his channel and have a look, because it's really cool. It's called The Mountains Will Remember Me, and yeah, it's a really cool movie, so I really like it. That's done. We have the last piece, the piece de résistance, and that is the follow. And for that, I'm gonna use, again, one of my favorite fonts, and I'm gonna change this to follow me, or yeah, just follow. It looks better. He's right. Follow me doesn't look that good, okay? Again, I copied and pasted the text there because I don't have a style, and I want to make sure that the text size is consistent throughout the entire product. So I'll put this here, and now I have a couple of icons that I've saved on my computer, which I'm gonna drag and drop here. So it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and then I have the Pete's Pirate Life, but this is a PNG. But it makes no difference. So now I'm gonna select each and every one. I'm gonna make sure that this is set to okay. I'm gonna change it to 24 pixels. Again, the same thing that I was telling you about previously. Now they're a bit scattered, but don't worry, we're gonna align them soon. So I just want to make sure that every icon has the same height. Okay, I'm gonna change this to 24 as well. Perfect. And using the magic, I'm just gonna copy this. Oh, first of all, I need to see if I can change this to kind of like a whitish. Yeah, so this will not change to white because it's a PNG, obviously. So let me just go into Photoshop really quick and change this icon to white. So to do that, I'm gonna use the lazy method, which is the paint bucket. Just like this, and just yeah, that's it. It's not very clean, it's not the most beautiful thing, but it works and it does the job. So this will be in white. Again, I will change this to 24 pixels, just like that. I prefer to use SVGs, but yeah, I don't have access to them, obviously. So we're gonna adapt and overcome. So now that we have all these icons in white, I'm just gonna hit Command G on my keyboard, group them, then afterwards create an auto layout, and I'm gonna give equal space between them of 30 pixels, and I'm just gonna drag this over here. Again, this icon is not very sharp, but because of our limitations currently, I cannot do anything about it except start to recreate that in Illustrator, and that will take a bit more time for this short tutorial, so I'm not gonna do that. So now that we have that done, it's pretty much ready. I'm just gonna copy and paste this here, and yeah, this is the final product. Now we're gonna toggle this off. What I like to do is I like to kind of like start grouping every single section like this, like just selecting everything and hit Command G for everything that I did. And I'm gonna show you why, because I want the spacing between these sections to be roughly the same. So after I've done that, I will select everything, Command G again to group everything, auto layout, and I will put here 150 pixels. And I'm gonna select everything to be aligned to center. And this way I know that the distance between all my elements is the same and it's nice and neat. So now let's have a look at our final design. And there you have it. You have the landing page, you have the Lightroom presets, the limited edition prints, the Lightroom. Oh, here is the Lightroom presets again. I will need to change the text and follow. So let's change the text really quickly. And I'll write here my YouTube. No, just YouTube. I think like just YouTube should be fine. Okay, so if we go back now, everything is nice and clean. The only small element that I would like to add now is because I know Peter McKinnon, it's all about textures. I downloaded a dust kind of like texture, like a PNG. You can find this on Google, so it's super easy, not hard to find. And I want to drag this here, make sure that this is in my frame here, and I'm gonna drag it all the way to the back. And I want to change the image and increase the saturation, play around with it a bit, and have this. Okay, so it's exposure that I need to change. Contrast, I can leave it the same. Okay, now I'm basically just guessing because I'm not sure. Okay, so the contrast, lower the contrast a bit. Well, actually I can put it like this and then lower the opacity to 30%. Actually a bit higher, I will say 60. Let's try 40. Yes, 40% looks good. Just make sure that this covers the entire. So yeah, this is the final product. So we went from this one to this. So this is my interpretation of how I would personally redesign Peter McKinnon's new website based on my kind of style and based on what I know about him through his videos or through his content. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something from it. And also, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And this being said, because the holidays are approaching, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in the next year. Till then, I'm gonna take a short break of like a couple of weeks to focus more on creating more and more content on this channel. So if you enjoy the content that I create so far, please make sure to hit the like button if you like this video and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next year. Take care, have a good one, and I will see you soon.